Good evening. Okay, so I just wanted to give a little clarity to someone who was confused on the standard fee agreement language found in the Social Security's form that many of us are now using instead of using our own proprietary, previously used fee agreement forms, just to kind of make it more universal or streamlined so they can be approved faster because it's the actual SSA's own form. It says the same thing, but it's in their own form, so I think it's easier for the SSA to approve it. So anyway, the newer form, because they didn't have one years ago, is called the SSA-1693. I have adopted it a year or two ago to simplify things for the SSA and cause myself less headaches. Anyway, you'll see the language that talks about the fee, and you'll see if it's the latest version, it should say a 7,200 cap within that paragraph. If it's an older version that's still being used, it'll say 6,000 or whatever the current cap is on that amount. And I know in my particular form, because we haven't reverted to the updated one yet, it actually says as of 11/2022 increased to 7,200. They had announced that increase to 7,200 back in, I think it was June of 2022, that it would be effective 11/2022, and we changed our forms at that time. Okay, just to include that. I mean, it has the escalation clause anyway, but I like it to be clear to my clients of what it is or is about to be. Of course, the next increase, if it's going to be anything like the increase of the past, it was 13 years before we ever got a raise. So think about that, 13 years no raise. Okay, so when you look at it, it's 25% of back benefits. That's assuming there is back benefits. If there are no back benefits, then generally the fee agreement isn't going to apply. But if there are back benefits, and technically if there are any back benefits, however small, the attorney fee is 25% of back benefits, and there is always the cap of 7,200. So many cases reach the 7,200 cap, and the attorney does not get the full 25%. Other cases, the back benefits don't get high enough to reach the cap, and the fee is therefore 25%, which is something less than 7,200. I hope I said that right. So I hope that explains. And yes, it is contingent upon winning. If there's not a win, I've never seen a fee. Certainly not based on the fee agreement, because it's contingent on winning, right? Because you can't have back benefits unless you win. So I hope that explains that in a little quick blurb. It's pretty cut and dry once you read through it with that basic understanding in mind. There is also the alternative way of a fee as prescribed by the SSA. When there is no back benefits, there is the alternative method of the fee petition. Now, usually there is back benefits, so this is far more rare, and it's not preferred because it gives everybody more work to do, and it can drag the fee on for, over a year, depending on how slow the SSA is to reviewing the fee petition. So fee petition is when you itemize all of your work done and what the billable rate would be, total it, send it to the SSA. They're asking for that total or something less. And then the SSA, as always, decides what the fee will be, and we'll put it in writing and send it to both the attorney and the client. Even the fee agreement under the SSA 1693 form, regardless of that form, that defines what the fee has been agreed to, but there's still no fee chargeable as a fee to be owned by the attorney unless and until the SSA puts it in writing. And as a practical matter, when the SSA is not missing a step in the process, when there is back benefits, the SSA automatically withholds that 25% capped at 7,200 currently right now in 2023. and presumably for the next too many years, I'm sure. And they forward it directly to the attorney. So there's no need for a client to be concerned about it in terms of having to come up with the money, or did the back benefits I get already have that taken out or not. And if it's done right, it's already taken out. They do drop the ball occasionally. I don't know if it's as high as 10%, but it happens. I don't know. I don't know the percentage. I would say it happens to me at least a couple times a year, it seems like. And that's the case where they accidentally they miss a click somewhere along the way, and they accidentally send the full fee to the client without withholding and sending the attorney portion, in which case the client is now responsible for sending a check to the attorney. If the in-writing fee approval language has already been issued by the SSA, which is usually done in one of the award letters, then that is the language that then is done. If they completely forgot to even think about a fee and didn't click that paragraph to be included, then you would send the check to the attorney so that you don't spend it, obviously, in the designated amount, and the attorney can put it into the trust. It is not a bill yet. And then once that language comes through, the attorney can just charge it out of there. Now, if the language is less than the amount paid by the client for some weird reason, who knows, then the attorney has to forthrightly send over the balance to the client, the excess beyond which the SSA did not approve. Okay, so it works usually pretty seamlessly, but it is always a good idea when you get your back benefits, should you prevail, that you make sure it is minus the fee, so that you then don't have to worry about it at all, and that whole check is free and clear for you to do with it as you will. The last thing you really want, I think, is to them having made a mistake, you get the whole check, you don't realize it, and you immediately spend it, and you don't send the attorney portion to the attorney. If that happens, then generally we have to go through the SSA and advise them of that. And there's a possibility that they intervene, and now they might have to withhold prospective benefits because you've potentially been overpaid, because you've been overpaid the portion that's supposed to go to the lawyer. So it's just a good thing to double check. I would say speak with your lawyer or your non-attorney representative when you get your amount. And again, it's usually easy to compare because you're going to have an amount in their letter that they say they're sending to you in total, and they show the year's breakout of which portion is due to which years of back benefits. And when you do the math, you know what the full amount is and you know what the net amount is. So it is pretty easy to do, but definitely confer with your representative so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, and now you have a potential overpayment or a bill due to the lawyer and an overpayment. So you just want things to run smoothly. Thanks, guys. I hope that explains. Bye-bye now.